Welcome back to the Macross Delta recap show, wrap up edition. In this part, we're going to go through the messages and answer them as best as we can. We're going to split up the messages into different sections. We're going to go through a couple of standalone messages, and then we group some of the comments together so that we could answer the similar ones all at once. They're not exactly the same, but they're similar in theme, and also we don't have a lot of time, so we're just going to go through them as best as we can. And then finally, on the last portion, we're going to go through the shorter questions in a lightning round session. So let's get started.
Okay, so we've got Vince Heather Bonilla, who says season 2. And then we've got Shuya Ina Bernstein. Hope I got that right. Frontier Delta crossover Macross movie, please. And then we got Anya Own, who says Macross Delta movie. And finally, Teoma Rikai, I think maybe, who says need more with a tear. So definitely got a few fans here craving for more Macross Delta in whatever form they can get it.
I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to.
I think Celia's against
Yeah,
it.
I think we've definitely heard that one. But personally, yeah, I could go for I could see a movie for sure. Yeah. I don't know if it'll be something that's really, really good. Like, usually with the movies, I like parts of them. They're fun. I think they're more interesting and enjoyable than they are anything really good for me, I think. I don't know. What do you guys think about the Macross movies that have come with like Macross Plus and Macross 7 and Macross Frontier and whatnot? What do you think of the movies? And I guess the original one as well. Do you remember Love counts as well?
I haven't seen the movies for 7, and I've actually only seen the movie edition for Macross Plus. I haven't seen the OVA set yet. I know.
Same here.
What?
I know. It's because I haven't sought it out though. Like I got my Macross Plus movie edition. I found it at a thrift store on DVD, and it was like the coolest thing I'd ever found because I didn't think I would ever see Macross like anywhere near where I live. And I found it in a thrift store, and I'm like, it's mine, and I got it for like $5. So
I feel like personally betrayed by both of you. I can't believe this whole time neither of you have seen the Macross Plus OVA. It's like so important. Oh,
I know.
Sorry.
Anyways, now that I have thoroughly made Chad feel ashamed for my choices here,
But you're a new fan, though.
Yeah, you've got the excuse. Yeah.
I'm not that new, guys. I started with Frontier 8 years ago.
You were born 2 years before Plus came out, right?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, 92. This franchise is older than I am. But about for the movies, I think it just depends. Like I really like the Do You Remember Love movie and both the Macross Frontier movies. I'd be okay if Delta decided to do like not necessarily a set of movies, but just a movie that maybe takes a story in a different route. Like Frontier, the first movie was the same until probably about halfway through, and then it just went on a completely different story path. And I remember the Gurren Lagann movies doing something similar, where it started out the same and went a different direction. I think the rebuild of Evangelion movies do that too. So I guess if they wanted to do that and explore some different story opportunities for Delta, then I mean, I'd watch them. Even though I say I don't want more Delta, I know that I'll watch whatever they put out later. So I can't deny that.
You're a slave.
I am.
A slave to Macross. Is anybody thinking of season 2? Would that be something we'd like to see, or would we? Are we pretty much like interested in a movie?
Just a movie, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if I want season 2.
Yeah. Again, it all has to depend on can they keep it up like they did with the first core, and but Macross doesn't do season 2. That's the thing.
Wait, then what
You
was
know,
7? Because 7's like what, 50 something
it's just
episodes?
long.
It's
Is that
just
all one season?
yes.
I think it was.
Wow.
Yeah, that's way too much.
They used to do shows like that.
I know they used to because I used to watch a lot of them, but like Macross doesn't usually do that. Like I know SDF had those
No.
last 10 kind of tacked on
Yeah.
as like an epilogue. And then, you've got your OVA sets. Frontier stuck with 25 because they were really going for that 25 thing. Um, and then Delta is, your standard 26 episode first season. So that's weird that 7's not in separate seasons. At least to me, I think it's weird.
Well, yeah, as a younger viewer, I could definitely see how you'd think about it. But anime used to be made differently, so around that time. I mean, there's a lot of different series that were 49 episodes. Like Zeta, right, was 49. Yeah, that wasn't that unusual.
That's like a whole year, right? I mean, more than a year for each
Yeah,
week.
I think so, yeah.
That makes
It's
sense though, because
incredible.
like Ranma half
50
was 6
episodes, sorry.
seasons.
50 Zeta Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam was 50 episodes, not 49. My apologies. So yeah, so it basically runs for like a year, I guess. Yeah.
That's
Oh.
insane. All right, let's get into these two short ones again. Still wondering why they are teasing us about the Mega Road? That's from Kevin Chow and Shiba Genius. At least they named Mega Road 1. Almost confirmed Lady M is Minmay, but it feels like a copy of Frontier. I didn't get that last one. That's a whole separate statement, right? The whole Frontier thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it was just a troll. Now that we're looking back, it was just a big Kawamori troll about the Mega Road. I don't know why he would bring it up since he was so against it in the beginning or has always been against it. But, if they bring it up in another series and answer it, then I'll be happy. But for now, I'm counting it as a troll. What do you guys think?
Same. It's just much like Frontier. I think the mention of the original characters and the Mega Road and everything else like that is just another troll, or maybe not so nefarious. Maybe it's a little nod to the old school fans, a little wink or something like that, right? But point being, that's nothing more than that.
Stubborn Nato at Stubborn Nato on Twitter has actually quite a few points that he made here. Let's see. He says, since Kawamori's ideas often lurk for a while before appearing, maybe the next series would be the racing show that Delta allegedly started out as the concept for. We'd get VF action at least, and it gets back to basic. And are the Windermere subplots underutilized? Were those characters nuanced or just slightly too vague? I definitely think that they didn't do enough with Windermere to, like, I guess, make it seem balanced enough. Because remember, there was that episode, like, halfway through where they were trying to humanize the Windermerians before Royd declared that they were spreading out into the galaxy. And it basically,
Yeah.
like, just undid the first 15 minutes that they spent trying to make you care about the Windermerian Knights.
It's a common theme in Delta.
Yeah. Just start it and not finish it and leave it there. Is Bogue ever going to get a girlfriend that's not Reyna? I don't know. Give me an OVA series. 6 episodes just about Bogue.
Yeah.
I think Bogue getting involved with any girl at this point is like, yeah, a recipe for entertainment. So I would definitely be for that, whether we see it in a movie or an OVA or another season, because it was like one of the more entertaining and fun and just human aspects of his character from the show. So I think it'd be great.
Yep. I want a rom-com slice of life OVA series about Bogue trying to find a girlfriend.
It could work.
Let's
It could
make it
actually
happen.
work.
That would be fun. That would be
Right?
fun.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
The next series being the racing show that Delta allegedly started out as a concept for. We kind of talked about that already.
Yeah, we did. In length.
Hmm
Yeah.
That'd be
I don't know
that'd be
if they'll do
neat.
it.
I want them to.
I think it'd be great. Yeah, I know some people have their strong opinions one way or the other, but I think it would be a great way to mix it up, do something a little bit different.
Well, the great thing is with Macross, you could do something like that, and then they'll have another series not right after, but
Yeah, for sure.
change direction again on the next one.
All right, so the next comment is from Sean Salisbury at Togakun on Twitter. He says, glad the Hayate Freya ship sailed in the end, but as a series, I felt it was okay overall, where the first half of the series was paced perfectly, but it seems the second half was poorly planned, which led to only a few standout episodes. Music-wise, they had a lot of good music, which is the series' strong point. All the girls did a very good job, with a standout performance from Jenna on the Star song, which complements her powerful singing voice. What I'll miss the most is EXO's Arid rants, but maybe we'll get a movie where Arid avoids contributing to the team. And then he says specifically to you, Alex, I will miss your Arid rants the most. We will
Ah,
miss the salt.
I'm over it. Yeah. I could use less salt in my life.
This was more salt and sweet. It was bittersweet, maybe even, to be leaving that sort of thing behind, because it was a lot of fun for everybody, I think. Fangmitch says, well, good thing it's not a Shinigami, but either a Valkyrie helmet or a Guardian Angel. Something that protects people fits Hayate a little bit better. They resolved the Mercat. The Mirage's pet.
Yeah.
Oh, Kyururu.
Kuryu, yeah.
That's not really her pet, right? That's more like a mascot for their dorm.
The
Because it seemed like
yeah.
everybody took care of it.
Well, that's what Kaname said, but
Oh, did she say
yeah,
that?
that's what she said in the episode is that they all take care of him, but I think
Yeah,
he's Mirage's.
he favors Mirage.
He's talking about the one that was painted onto the back of
Hayate's.
Hayate's VF-131 instead of the one that's on Messer's. And
Yeah,
yeah, that does look better actually. So I don't think it was. I never got a good look at it because it happened kind of fast. I didn't realize that it was
yeah.
different. It looked similar enough that I thought it was the Death's Head, but it's actually like more of an armored helm.
Like a unicorn thing on it. I don't know. That's what it looks like, right? It's not. Yeah, you're right. It's not the Shinigami. I thought the same thing.
I mean, is this actually
So
official or is this like fan made?
no, no. This is a
This is an
screenshot.
actual screenshot from the show? Okay. I just
Yeah,
didn't, yeah, realize it was something different. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that
cool.
is more fitting. Yeah, for sure.
I almost would have preferred if they did it in a different color scheme though, because that's why I mistook it for the Shinigami head. Is that the colors and
Hmm.
are exactly the same?
There was also like a quick shot. I think he's the only one that caught it when he said that. I was like, "What? Really?" I gotta look at it. So yeah, good eye. All right, so Bahoma 246. First off, I'd like to thank all of you guys for making the Delta recap show. Listening to discussions from longtime fans like you guys was quite entertaining. I probably have a different perspective since I'm still pretty new to the franchise. I was still watching SDF when this series started airing. Oh, that's cool. A newcomer. But Bahoma's been commenting since the first show, I think. So thanks for supporting us all the way through. That's cool. Hopefully you continue and check out all the Macross shows other than Delta and SDF. Let us know what you think about
I
SDF.
And
think
Frontier.
Delta, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think Delta is good enough
Frontier.
to like at least pique people's interest if they've never seen Macross before. It is like anything, right? It would be sort of like a gateway kind of thing. It's be like, what is this franchise about these transforming robots and singing? Each installment will always be sort of like a success like that, I think, as long as they keep it going, right?
What would you say, Celia?
Oh, I didn't say anything.
You said, and Frontier.
Oh
Don't
yeah,
forget Frontier.
Frontier.
But have you noticed like a lot of the newcomers, the people that have never seen any other Macross show, love Delta? Like they come onto their pages and comment like, I've never seen a mech show before, I've never seen a Macross show before, and Delta is awesome. So it kind of says something about the show and looking at it with a different set of eyes.
I wonder if you see some crossover because the idol aspect in this show in particular is a lot stronger and it's utilized, I feel, a little differently than it was in Frontier. And
Hmm.
idol groups, especially in anime, are really popular right now and it's pretty trendy. So I wonder if you're starting to see that crossover where you have people who already liked idol stuff or kind of liked it that heard Walkyre's music. Like, because when I was in Tokyo, the shops that were selling Delta stuff usually had a screen where it was on display that was running commercial after commercial for Macross Delta.
Hmm.
You know, so they probably hear the song and see the commercial and are like, oh, I like that and check it out. But it's cool that people are getting into the franchise though, even after 34 years.
Would you say that this time the main aspect of the show was the idol part of it?
I don't think so. I think it's still like even though it might have come out like really strong to a lot of old time fans at the beginning with the preview episode and whatnot, that it's like, oh, look at all this, look at all this idol group stuff and the singing and magical girls and everything else like that. I think old school fans were hit by that more than new fans. I think as the series progressed, it was very clear that this was still a mecha show, especially because I remember us talking about so many sequences in the first like half of the series where we're just like, these are such great classic, Macross moments, or like they're so very much like homages to the great sequences and the Macross from the past. And a lot of that has to do with the mecha. There was some truly like fantastic mecha sequences and some great animation going on. Yeah, not to any significant degree. You would definitely still classify this as a mecha show, in my opinion.
All right, we're getting to the part where we have a couple of comments that have a similar theme in common. And the first group are wondering what happened to Mirage? How come there's not enough of her? Let's read them.
So Robert GTL says, I would like to know if there will be an option for Freya alive again, but without a doubt, the couple is indisputable. So this comes from Jose Antonio. Macross Delta was good for me, but I feel Kawamori and the Macross Delta staff were too rushed to end the story in the final chapter. Easily could have been a few more chapters, but anyway, was just 26. Macross Delta was too much blah blah and needed more dogfights. and I missed a fan service chapter on the beach to see Valkyrie wearing bikinis. Give me a break. Ragna had a beach. Also, I'm agreeing with Alex Wong's comment about Mirage. She was underused, and the series have a love triangle that doesn't look like a love triangle. Maybe Kawamori
Yeah.
wants to give a chance to the weaker link. If there's going to be an OVA, I hope for a more brave and courageous Mirage who wants to fight for the love of Hayate. Then we have Yanar Khalith Duiwatsu. I hope I'm getting that right. Forgive my pronunciation. Poor Mirage faction, lol.
Same though.
And
Poor and then LOL.
finally, we've got Sean Boyd, who says Delta was a letdown. First half was great stuff, great flow. Then after that badass mid-season episode, it felt the staff got fired and they went in another direction. It fell flat. Very little character development. Mirage was a wasted character. I love the genus, he says. It wasn't enough, even a love triangle. She was just a poor red herring. It got super predictable. I felt nothing for the characters. Did love seeing the VF9 though, right at the end. He's referring to the VF9 Cutlass. I hope they have more combat in the next series and not so much of the main characters getting captured 3 times, I believe. Sum up my thoughts of Delta. First half, 7.5 to 8 out of 10, worth the watch. Second half, 4. Ooh.
Oh,
Macross 2 did a better job.
oh, that
Oh,
stings. That stings.
them's fighting words, Sean, me boy.
Yeah, I think we mentioned the fact that she was way underutilized and it wasn't really a triangle.
Sean hits the nail on the head there about just saying it got like predictable, very predictable, and Mirage was left out. Wasted character, he says, and yeah, those are echoing a lot of the same thoughts that I think many of us had about Mirage overall. Like the mecha action, it wasn't necessarily that there wasn't enough Mirage. What there was not utilized effectively enough.
Did you guys want a beach episode?
Yes,
Is that
I
warranted?
agree with Jose Antonio. I didn't know that I wanted it until he said it. Where was my beach episode?
Yeah, they had a beach. Another
Another
underutilized.
missed opportunity. Another missed opportunity.
Once again, another missed opportunity.
Another underutilized aspect of Macross
Especially
Delta.
because they have official bikini designs. There's the anime illustrations, and now the figures that are coming out of Mirage and Freya.
Oh my God, yeah, they are the statues.
And then we have
OVA.
Robert, who said he was hoping for Freya to live again. I think what he meant was that he was hoping there would be some possibility for Freya to live an extended life beyond the average Windermerian, rather than her 30 years, maybe, I think, if I'm interpreting that line correctly.
Yeah, I think that's what he's trying to say too. And it would be
Yeah.
nice if she could live longer than her lifespan.
For sure, yeah. Well, the great thing about how it ended is that we're only halfway through her story, so you can sort of use your imagination for sure and believe that something did change. Especially in the Macross universe. There's a universe of possibilities for sure.
Is Macross 2 better than the second half of Macross Delta?
Is that a trap?
I don't know.
do
Okay,
I
I have
do I feel my loyalties for certain Macross animes if I respond to this question?
I haven't watched Macross 2 yet. Is it really that terrible? Like I read stuff online about how it's like, the redheaded stepchild of the Macross
To be honest,
franchise.
yeah, like you know what? I don't think that there's like when we're talking an overall level of quality, and maybe I'll get some shit for this, but I don't know if there's all that much difference between something like Delta and something like Macross 2, because in my final analysis, they both come across as pretty average series taken as a whole. So I think they're kind of on par in a certain way, and I mean, I guess it depends on what you like about Macross 2 more than you did about Delta, like certain aspects of it. But I will say that I probably lean a little bit more towards Delta because Delta's highs were probably higher than anything I got out of Macross 2. Even though they both ended up as sort of like average series, I think the highs in Macross Delta, yeah, they do it for me more. What do you think, Alex?
Not that I remember it much, but I think it was a really big mistake to make the main character a reporter instead of a pilot. But you do have Sylvie Gina as the pilot, but again, I don't think they focused on her enough. Maybe they should have focused on her instead. Made the female the main character instead of Hibiki.
How would you compare the?
I agree totally. I would be more likely to rewatch Delta than Macross 2. I guess I'll take this one. These couple of messages are about, whoa, these are long. So these are all about the unevenness of the show. The first one is from Irving Miranda, who's I guess, a longtime listener.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's
and a poster
he's
too. I've seen Irving's
yeah, he's
posts, yeah,
commented.
before. Yeah.
He's on Facebook and Twitter and on the YouTube channel.
Whoa.
All right. So first and foremost, I would like to thank EXO, Celia Rose, and Chad for putting out these great recap shows every week. Thank you for your time and effort. As for the Macross Delta, I really enjoyed the world building it did to the Macross universe. The characters were enjoyable, but some could have been more fleshed out, like Keith and Royd, especially Mirage. The mecha action has been great, but nearly absent from the second half of the show. The BF-31 Siegfrieds and the SB-262 Drakens look fantastic. Personally, I really loved the look of the Siegfrieds, but the show has left me with more questions than answers. Like, what's the true mission of the Star Singer? Who is Lady M and what is her endgame? What is the status of the nuns and Windermere's conflict? What is Berger trying to accomplish? A second season or a follow-up movie seems logical, but maybe another series touches on some of those lingering questions. Overall, it was a fun ride despite having a sort of happy slash sad ending, knowing that Freya was not going to last long. In case there was a second season or a follow-up movie, then we must see Bogue as a member of the Windermere Walker fan club, Reina clan.
Yes. OVAs. I want them.
Yeah. So, oh, he reiterated on Twitter. Not enough Mirage, but the flashback in the finale was nice.
I'll go next. We have David Stanez says Delta was fantastic one moment, meh the next. Fantastic again. We had what seemed like more downtime episodes than operations ones, which would be fine, but some of the downtimers just were too laggy. Delta deserved a different pacing and still deserves a second season. Mirage deserves to find her guy, and Mikumu deserves the chance to grow into more than just the role she's always played, from singer to not else, to a woman who knows she's far more than just her voice. And so the next one, before we address the comments, I'm going to read out the next one, which is Eric Guy. Delta is not a bad series, but it suffers from an unfortunately large volume of missed opportunities. They really did a great job of coming up with an interesting and powerful cast, then squandered that potential by not developing most of them. I'm perfectly happy with Freya and Hayate winning the love triangle, he puts in quotes, but Mirage never got more than the barest bones of a character arc. The potential was there for a really meaningful story with her, but it was mostly forgotten. Same with the Keith Royd relationship. That really should have been the heart of the villain's side of the story, but instead it was inconsistent and poorly developed. On the flip side, some things I really appreciated in Delta were the world building and settings. I like the new planets and glimpses we got of how society has expanded, as well as the new information on the protoculture that we got. At the end of the day, I'm disappointed in Delta, but more because of what it could have been than because of what it is.
That's
That's what
like
was.
exactly how I feel.
Yeah, very well written too.
Nails it on the head.
Yeah, he put together his thoughts very nicely.
So the next comment's from the Gaming Archives of Captain Weasley. It's an excellent, excellent handle.
Yeah, I like that one.
He says, compared to Frontier, Delta has too many fillers, exposition, and plot holes. They should have split it into 2 seasons with 13 episodes each. The rushed writing is mediocre compared to other entries in the franchise. I don't know how I feel about 2 seasons. Anyways, and the final comment about the unevenness of the series is from Tom Ramos III. He says, I don't know why, but Delta for me felt like webisodes. I loved Macross Frontier. Delta could have been more epic. They had more places to visit, more races, but not enough character development with what they had. Also, too many plot holes for me. I thought they would show Roy mind controlling Hayate's dad into dropping the dimensional weapon. No follow up on Lady M or the Mega Road one that was mentioned. Also feels like there was a lack of depth in the mechs. Were the drones from the SV-262 stolen tech from LAI? The music, Macross 7 and Frontier had awesome soundtracks. Not sure about this. Can't imagine a live concert like those for 7 and Frontier for Delta. It was awesome to see another Macross title, but it felt lacking.
Okay, so yeah, we were saying that all these letters, all these messages, had in common was about the unevenness of the show and also how a lot of the storylines dropped off. I just want to explain one thing what the gaming archives of Captain Weasley meant. He said that he wanted to split the show into two seasons but 13 episodes each instead of having one season with 26 episodes, saying that they should have enough time to think out the storyline of the second part of the
Oh,
show.
I see. Like having a mid-season break before they go on to that second
Yeah,
half. I don't know if that would have made a difference though.
Everybody was dreading that break too. They're
I
like, I
know.
hope there isn't a mid-season break. I hope it doesn't happen. And now, yeah, we're just like, yeah. Now maybe it could have benefited from a mid-season break.
I don't know if that would have changed anything though, because they plan out the production so far in advance. You know, when they're
Yeah.
writing scripts and stuff, I don't think that would have changed. The only difference is we would have waited like 2.5 months before we got the second half.
But maybe they did need that um, 2.5 months to just kind of, sit down, look at the second part of the show, and realize that it just wasn't as good as the first. That's what most of these comments have in common too. Like they all want a second season, some sort of completion to Macross Delta. I think we discussed it, but what do you guys think? Would it work to even give it that chance? Or I think they should move on. Okay, fanfic time. I think they should move on and then maybe roll Mirage over to the next series like they did with Max and Miria. Yeah, maybe have her like a little bit older. She would have like a different love interest or something like that. Instead of, just forcing Delta into a longer storyline. Oh, and then Hayate could show up in that series and Freya's already dead.
That's
There you go.
terrible.
Oh,
That got dark
God.
so fast.
I'm not a fan of that at all.
You know you want to see it though.
No.
I would watch it, but it's not what I would want.
But go ahead. Go ahead, Chad. What are you going to
Well,
say?
getting away from the fan fiction for a moment, going back to the
And
comments.
shits are always a bad idea. Let me just say that right
The
now.
unevenness of the show and the comments. I think some of these comments are a little bit harsher on the show than we were. Maybe it doesn't feel that way because we actually have a tendency to vocalize a lot of our thoughts about each individual aspect of the show. But I've got a relatively good feeling coming out of Delta. I wish it was better. I am disappointed because the highs of the series that it had won't be matched by the series overall. So I think that's disappointing. But I think overall it isn't too bad. I just wish it was better than average. I wish it wasn't like overall a mediocre sort of Macross entry. I was hoping for better for sure. Yeah, like what is Berger trying to accomplish and stuff like that. I think we got most of what Berger was trying to accomplish, but I think what was lacking in something like Berger's arc was just any sort of satisfying completion to it, like a dramatic moment that closes out his arc. Linked in with that is also the Lady M and Royd sort of like interaction as well, right? The three of them, what they were up to. It's like it's not necessarily that we didn't get enough development. What was there didn't merge into a satisfying dramatic arc in any sort of way. For some people, it might be a slight distinction, but I think it's an important one. It's just misused, not necessarily absent. A large volume of missed opportunities. I don't think that there's a large volume of missed opportunities. I think that there are like several significant ones, and we've covered that in most of our discussion. And I think that if they were just properly utilized, I think Mirage being the big one, the variety of the mecha action being another one, and then just some of the subplots being wrapped up and given more satisfying arcs overall and conclusions, I think were the three big ones. One of the missed opportunities I think we talked about was the fact that for a large cast, there wasn't enough interaction between the characters. So I think that's probably one of the things, as far as missed opportunities or the unevenness of the show, I think is one of the things that I'd complain about. Other than that, yeah, I'm pretty much fine with everything else that was in there, just hoping for more.
As far as us sounding not as salty as the stuff that we just read, I don't think so. I think the complaints are always louder than the stuff that we say that we
Yeah,
liked,
maybe you're right. Yeah.
and and also, when you read stuff on the internet, they always sound worse than what they're trying to say, and you really got to like step back and just make sure that you don't have those connotations of from these comments. And I've seen, I mean, that's where all these internet fights start. I mean,
Yeah.
people write a comment, and then people take it the wrong way, and then or they want to take it the wrong way, and that's how the internet turns ugly. I guess these pretty much all reiterate the fact that Delta felt incomplete at the end. I guess I gotta agree with most of it.
Or maybe it's just like, yeah, just closing thoughts, I guess, is maybe it's just reading one, critical post after another. It feels a little bit worse than it actually is.
Yes.
Maybe that's what my impression is. But yeah, I have to agree that a lot of I think a lot of the comments here echo some of the concerns that we've sort of vocalized in our episodes as well. So I think a lot of them are hitting the same sort of marks. And I have to agree with many of them for sure.
Yeah, I agree actually with Eric Guy's whole comment, with the exception of Mirage having the barest bones of a character arc. Because she had a character arc, it was just very quiet. So it was easy to go unnoticed when you have the dynamicism and the energy of Walkure and Freya that are really like, and that's kind of the way that the triangle looked anyways, now that I think about it, where you really have this draw where Freya is so energetic and so animated and has so much about her that is just, I guess, energetic's the only word I can come up with right now. Whereas Mirage is much more reserved and quiet, and her character arc was kind of quiet, but I think she had a pretty good character arc anyways. I do feel like that it was like the most of the other arcs in this show, that it was kind of like left and not completed, but we've talked about that already. But yeah, I agree that the thing that I am disappointed in Delta is what it could have been instead of what it is. Like if I look at it what it is, I mean, I enjoyed it, but some of the things that I would have liked them to do, I would be nice if they did it. But we're also,
The potential.
yeah, but we're also at the end now, so
Yeah.
who knows?
Roll her over. Roll Mirage Genius over to the next one. That's what I'm
Will
saying.
she be a parent in this next one? Because if they're going to roll her over like they did for Max and Milia, she can't necessarily be the focus. She would have to be a secondary character, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's ways to make a secondary character relevant. I mean, they did it for Chuck in this one, right?
They did nothing for Chuck in this one. Don't play with my emotions.
All right. Well, speaking of playing with your emotions, why don't you take the next one from Too High McFly Productions?
Says, all right, so says, I agree with everything. On that note, here are my thoughts. All of them have ups and downs, from zero to Delta. I already did my second viewing nonstop of Delta. I barely felt those slow burns. It's just waiting a week for the next episode that feels slow, but if you binge it, it flows well. Also, watching it for 26 weeks, you lose little details of the story, which sometimes you forget on the 26th week. I encourage everyone to binge watch Delta this weekend. I'm sure you'll love it even more. Also, I'm going to say it, Walkure is better than Cheryl and Ronka. How dare you?
Damn.
How dare
Take
you?
that, Celia.
Let's see, what's your reasoning? Because there's four of them compared to two. There are not four. There are five, first of all. They're all best girls, and also Arid is best boy. Okay, now you're just being
Ouch.
contrary. I appreciate
Ouch.
I appreciate the effort.
He just wants to start an incident, this guy.
uh, so yeah, I assume when he's saying from zero to Delta, though, he's talking about in chronological order. Because the only thing I thought of was zero to Delta is zero, Frontier, and Delta. Not counting SDF 7 and plus. Yeah, I don't know if binge watching will change the flow. I mean, I'm also still pretty fresh off of Delta, and it has been suggested to me by Craig from the Reanimated podcast to like wait a bit, like wait about 6 months, so that way it's not all like so immediate, and then watch it again and watch it in full, like all 26 episodes at once, and see if that changes any perspectives that you may have had while watching it. I don't know if that'll work for me. I mean, I'd be willing to give it a shot, just not now. I've had my fill of Delta for the time being.
I can't believe somebody already binge watched all 26 episodes.
I saw some posts. There weren't very many, but there were some posts online that people had binged watched episodes 1 through 25 before the finale.
Holy cow.
That way they would be ready. I
Eee.
don't have that kind of dedication. I'm a filthy casual.
Yeah, right.
I say on the Macross show talking about
Yeah, you
Macross
said a
things.
Macross show.
That is dedication, though. You gotta admit, that's dedication. I didn't even consider it, 26, 13
Well,
hours,
I've
right?
never done anything like that for any sort of thing. I mean, the closest would be watching the first and the second film in a series before the third one comes out or something. That would be the closest I'd come to that. But watching an entire television show over again before the last episode, I don't think I've ever done anything like that.
Mm,
I would not think to do something like that for sure.
I
That
wouldn't think to do it for
my
Delta at
experience.
least.
Oh, any show. Like I wouldn't do that for any show really. Um,
Oh,
I watched season 1 to 4 of Game of Thrones before the fifth season, but it wasn't a binge watch. It was like, casual.
oh, I binged
So
Game of Thrones. I binged 1 through 3 before season 4, and then before season 5, me and my family rewatched season 4. But I wouldn't think to do that for an anime though.
something like Game of Thrones for me is like it's very engaging. I liken Game of Thrones to something like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or Dune or something like that. These for me, just speaking for me, in that they engage my me as an audience member on so many levels that I get into it, kind of like I am into Macross, right? And I get like way into it, and I can recall like every character name. I can recall like how much weight each of them, Valkyries are and stuff. It's I get crazy into it. So there's not really the necessity to, I guess, rewatch the whole thing just before watching the next part of it. Because I'm already very intimately familiar with it, because it's engaging me on a level that most entertainment does not do. So I would never think to do the whole 25 episodes before episode 26. That being said, I would do seasons. Like if Macross Delta had 2 seasons, or just even not just 2 seasons of 26, but maybe two, part one and part two, 13 episodes, I could conceivably watch like the first half before watching the last episode of the second half or something like that. Just more as a like refresher. Like I do that with Game of Thrones as well. Every time a new season of Game of Thrones comes out, I rewatch the previous season because the show is so dense. I find it helps reorient me because it's been a year pretty
yeah,
much, right? So I do something like that.
I'm going to rewatch season 1 and season 2 of Mr. Robot because I know I missed a lot. There's just so much going on. So
Yeah.
I plan on doing that, but not binge watch. I probably won't do it like one episode after the other.
So the next one we have is from Felipe Cintron. He says, glad to hear you guys will do a wrap up. And to Cecilia specifically, he says, your cosplay dilemma is easily solved. You should cosplay as Mirage in either her cat people suit or as Mirage in Valkyrie's stage outfit. Oh, interesting.
Actually,
Now that you
it's really
see
cute
how
too.
the final plot hook in Delta overall was hinted all along, and gave me too much of a feeling that somehow that the organization in Frontier was somehow behind what was going on in Delta. Oh, interesting. I'd say give Delta a second viewing and look for the foreshadowing in not so obvious spots. They are somewhat hidden because of the compressed storytelling and a few dragging episodes, but I think you will find, while botched, that the hints of things to come were there, just not obvious enough to be seen and hidden by either boring parts of episodes or rushed feel of another episode. Oh, fair enough. I think and sincerely hope that the movie will be a continuation. This last episode was just, as you guys say, too compressed. Something you guys forgot to bring up was the unused plot hook of the data that was found in Immelman's flight recorder. This could have been the data proving nuns overrode him, and this evidence would seem to clear at least Hayate and his father. If this evidence would have been sent slash broadcast to the Windermerians, it would allow Bogue to consider, or at least probably drop, his hostility with Hayate and make it more acceptable for him to work with him on a mission. The movie could revolve around your second bad guy, Berger, in the wrap up. Somehow I think he might have been using Lady M as a pseudonym. Unlikely. And maybe that's when Lady M steps from the shadows in the final confrontation. Frontier's movies did change quite a bit about the original story in a way. I really don't want to see that happen. I'd rather see the movies being used as a way of tying up loose ends. I think he's talking about the Delta movies. or movie or movies. Also, the reason why Arid was not in the nude star scenes wasn't because he was off eating jellyfish. He was too obsessed posting on Facebook about his new mission saving the universe and seeing if he could find Kaname on Tinder.
Yes.
I was fine with bringing back Chuck's sister. I agree that the rest of the family should have been in the scene. It was the Wikipedia page on Macross Delta that stated she died. Since the episode, it was edited to say she disappeared instead. As for Hayate and Freya, I give them maybe 10 to 15 years before Freya passes. While she did not get some of the crusties, it wasn't a lot of crusties. Look at the Gramia before he died. He was quite old for their race. Wasn't it 40s or so, maybe 50? And that's it. Just to technically, I think they specifically said that Gramia was 35
Yeah,
pounds,
he was young.
which was supposed to be exceptionally long lived for a Windermerian. Typically, they don't live beyond 30, apparently. I don't know if there's anything to do with Frontier and Delta as far as the shadowy organizations behind it. I think that's just speculation. There's nothing, at least nothing that I thought from Delta. Second viewing, I think we've covered that in the first comment.
We just did,
Yeah, we just
yeah.
covered that.
But we did mention the flight recorder on the wrap-up show, so we actually did get to it.
Yeah, a little bit of it. I don't know if this evidence presented to the Windermerians would change all that much. Maybe it would soften them a bit, but I don't see a complete reversal. Especially since, and this is actually one of the things that we criticized about Delta, was the fact that the war technically isn't over. It's going to be a continuing conflict, and I don't think that even sharing the evidence of Wright Immelman's recorder to everybody would actually do much to change the course of the Windermerians like campaign against the galaxy at large, and the new UN spacey and whatnot. So as for the movies, yeah, like I don't know if I necessarily want the movies to sort of address some of the plot holes. I mean, I suppose it could be nice, but they might just be better off just taking the story in a different direction and just bypassing a lot of the plot holes of the television series altogether.
This one's from Ivan Konyawan. He said, "All right, LOL." That's from a previous comment that he said. Like, if we're asking about the future of Macross, he asked if we're asking for fanfic, and I said no, no fanfic. He said, "All right, LOL." Now that Delta left off, something that I want to see after Delta's final episode, maybe an OVA movie or alternative retelling. Number one, what happened after the Wintermerian War? I imagine there are political instabilities in the Brizinger cluster. And maybe the nuns created a martial law in Windermerian planet Brizinger cluster after losing so many ships and personnel in the final Windermerian War. Basically a retribution, and there are special discriminate treatment for Windermerian only by others.
Yikes.
What happened with the protoculture ruins and artifact plus the star singer Mikumo? I imagine Mikumo is taken custody by the nuns as a specimen or going exile with the help of others, or asked to join the Winnemerians as Star Singer to guide them, because Heinz cannot live longer. Maybe the Protoculture Ruins is heavily guarded by the nuns, and behind the scene, the Epsilon Foundation experimenting with the artifact and ruin, or maybe planning something awful. What is the future of Walkure? I imagine some of the Walkure members going separate ways to train and study how to utilize their song or chasing their personal dream, but they promise to see each other again when they are needed in the mission. What is the next enemy for the continuity OVA movie? I imagine the invisible faction like the Epsilon and the anti UN take the advantage of the political instability situation. Of course, if the next Macross project is alternative retelling of Delta, then all these speculations are lost. What more could we say? He pretty much answered all his
It's
questions.
true.
That's what Ivan is thinking that they could do following Macross Delta. I guess this means more Macross Delta for Ivan. Yeah, I'm not against it, but it doesn't seem likely.
It's almost
So,
Actually, I kind of admire this post in a way because it's almost as if Ivan took a lot of the weaknesses of the Macross Delta series and used them as opportunities to speculate in his own sort of like way about like maybe the directions it could go, some of the stories it could tell, kind of thing.
Like I said, if they did continue Delta, I guess these would be the questions that I would need answered, not just more Walkier, more VF-31s, or more mechs. They should really just tie up a lot of the storylines. But that's already been discussed. Who's next? El próximo material de Macross debería ser enfocado también en Delta, pero al estilo Flashback 2012. I don't know how to say 2012.
Oh, Nyankuri.
Oña de Frontier, Las Wacre cantando and I don't understand any of this. I could just read I could just read Spanish.
That you're gonna make all of our Spanish listeners like super happy. Like everyone in the Facebook group who thinks you speak Spanish and Japanese. They're like, Alex knows.
All right, I'll finish it then. Las Valkyrie cantando en un escenario normal, no de batalla, y en cada intermisión entre canciones que animen material nuevo exclusivo para ese video. Y al rodar los forget it.
Brilliant.
Oh.
That's like a summation of Macross Delta, like right there. Started off
Yeah.
strong and just couldn't finish.
I just couldn't finish.
That's wonderful. All right. This next comment is from Adrian Escobar, and he says the next material of Macross also should be focused on Delta, but in the style of Flashback 2012 or Frontier's Nyankli. The Valkyrie singing in a normal setting, not in battle, and each intermission between songs has exclusive new material for that video. During the credits, project ourselves 2 years in the future to 2069. And show what does come of the characters, as well as resolved conflict with nuns in Windermere, showing Berger sitting on the top of a trunk of bills. I think that's the best way I can do that. Yeah. Let's see. Show Berger sitting on a pile of bills. Also, even show just the silhouette of Lady M. And showing us that Mikomo has adjusted to her new self, as well as Chaos and the new UN Spacey. Now that everyone already knows what she can do, and who she is in reality and what that represents, etc., and a ton more of etceteras. And by God, this time Kawamori should redeem himself with poor Mirage and give her a minimum of 5 or 10 minutes of uninterrupted focus. I know a lot of people want more Genus. They want it real bad. I do think it'd be cool to get another thing like Flashback. I didn't really like Nyan Kri just because it felt like a bunch of music videos cut together. But I like the flow of Flashback, and that would be pretty neat to have for Delta.
Have you watched all of Flashback? Because
Yes.
besides that one song that has new animation, a lot of it is just recycled footage with like news footage. It's not really nothing new. Not that special.
Yeah.
Songs are
But it worked though. I think for whatever reason, Flashback 2012 worked. Nyankli was fun, and like I got things out of it that I liked, like the full music video for Universal Bunny. But otherwise, I was just kind of like, okay, like I don't own it, so it wasn't enough for me to go out and buy it. But I think that'd be a neat way to go about it. Get the musical montage and more Valkyrie that people want, but then I guess have some new footage thrown in there if they so choose.
all right. Cool. Chad, you have the other Spanish one.
Okay. So we've got Juan Pablo de la Calle Espero.
De la calle Espero. That means
de
from the
Calle
street
Espero. Okay.
of hope, I think.
Okay.
Now read the rest of it in Spanish.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I hope you can translate. Yes, I hope I can too. Macross Delta surely will not go down in history as one of the best Macross, but it will go down in history as the one that left the door open for the return of the Mega Road 1. If you remember in one of the last few chapters, stay ringing, at least for me, that little phrase of the reception of the transmission of the first ship of the colonization. Another thing that I leave Macross Delta is the junction with Macross Zero. Mikumo turns out to be a clone of the Star Singer. I can't help but recall the Legends of the Mayan as the wife of the first man created by the protoculture, I think is what he meant to say. The emergence of new mysteries, the more reaffirmation of the network of I think he means the galaxy network, to become a species that's super dimensional. Look to give the sensation that Macross Delta is the interim of an end to one of the most extraordinary sagas of the anime. Maybe bookend is what he meant to say. It's like Macross Delta is the bookend to one of the most extraordinary sagas of the anime. Sorry, I guess Soji Kawamori will have booked a great end to Macross, giving what the fans expect from 1984. So some of this is like, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, we already sort of mentioned the Mega Road one, and I think it's just either a tip of the hat or a full-on troll. And I don't think it's more than that. So I think expecting any more from that at this point is, I think it's hoping against hope. Links to Macross Zero. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if there's any direct links. I think it's more thematic. You know, Kawamori is sort of like being self-referential and likes to hyperlink everything. He's all about that. The more Macross sequels they make, the more Kawamori takes the opportunity to link to some of the previous entries in the franchise. And I think that's kind of more about what it is. The emergence of new mysteries and yeah, just talking, I guess, about Macross in general as Delta is just like another chapter in one of the special sort of franchises in anime, at least mecha anime history or Japanese animation. And I think we feel that. I mean, as fans, I think all three of us pretty much feel that Macross is something very special to us. Even if we are sort of disappointed with Delta, it's something that we enjoy in spite of some of the flaws and whatnot, and just to sort of like reaffirm, our love for the franchise and enjoy what the best things Delta did have to produce. We really take the time to enjoy those, and I certainly don't regret going through Delta because some of the best parts of it are some of my favorite parts of Macross overall.
All right. So X2 and 3 LL commented, I'm kind of sad that this just ended. Are you guys going to be doing any more collaborations with each other? I love to hear you guys just talk. It's soothing for some reason that I don't understand. I think
Soothing.
it's
It's
soothing.
soothing. Wow.
Is that code word for I use you guys to fall
Yeah.
asleep?
No, I mean we're going to take that obviously in a much better way than that, and say thank you very much. That's very nice of you to say. That's awesome. Yes, we have spoken about doing other things. They might be anime related. They might be not anime related. We haven't really decided yet, but we also have fun doing this. So there has been talk of us definitely doing more. We're going to do something. What shape that takes and when we're going to do it is currently up in the air.
If anybody has any suggestions of what they want to see from us, yeah, feel free to leave it down in the comments or contact us on our pages or Twitter accounts. Okay, so here we go. This is going to be our lightning round questions. 30 seconds each question. I will be reading them. You guys will be answering. So if you guys finish before that, we'll just go to the next one. From Shiba Tatsuya, they need a wedding for Hayate and Freya. I want to see them have kids. Go, Chad.
No, I don't think I have to see that.
That's
That's
it.
it. That's all. I'm good. I'm good with the way their relationship ended for sure. And I think this is a good way to close it off.
Celia from Fajar Haryansha. Wish Hayate and Alto got crossover in the next series. Go.
I don't know if in the next series, but I did say at the beginning of the show that I did want Alto to appear at some point in Delta because he folded out with the Vajra Queen and they didn't know where he went and how long he was gone for. So I kind of expected that, but it didn't happen. Oh well, a lot of things didn't happen.
Charleston Ho. Maybe travel to the Andromeda Galaxy. Go.
Uh, I suppose we could go outside the galaxy, but there's still so much of the galaxy that's completely unexplored in all of the Macross IP. So that's one of the sort of great things about the Macross IP is that the galaxy feels very, very open. And technically, with Delta, we already did get kind of outside the galaxy
9,
because the globular cluster
8,
is a satellite
7,
of the Milky Way
5,
galaxy.
4, 3. All right. Celia, Danny Chow. Messer died too early.
Actually, I think it really worked with the point that he died. It didn't work for my ship because it's just a little raft instead of a full blown boat. But I think it was good timing where he died in the series.
I think so too. Manuel Colunga Hernandez. The Murfish stole the show. I love kitty fish. Chad.
Well, Manuel, that's because you're a deeply disturbed individual.
Hey now, Cudido is the best kitty fish. It's stupid Don. I don't like him.
Yeah, can't say I agree with you on that one, Manuel. We'll have to agree to disagree. The Mercat were definitely
Cudido.
not a selling point for me.
Time. Celia. Ikari Shinji. Thank God it end. The end episode is literally the whole season in one. Good at the start, bad at the middle, and worst at the end. Go.
Ouch, that's harsh. I don't think the finale was that bad, but it definitely felt like a copy of episode 13.
Chad. Muba Chum Chum. I like saying that. Let me say it again. Muba Chum Chum. I wish the triangle would have confessed their love to each other. And, well, I think Muba said it incorrectly. I think it says,
And stayed a
I wish the
threesome.
triangle wouldn't.
No, he's saying
Yeah,
he
I
would have
wouldn't.
confessed him, right? And stayed a threesome.
I wish the
Yeah.
triangle would have confessed their love for each other and just stayed a threesome, so we can finally put the torn between two loves thing to rest already.
Yeah, I think he means
All right,
wouldn't
Alex,
have
go.
and stayed. All right, go. Um, no, they introduced the love triangle and they had to end it. I just wish it had more to it in the middle and invested us in their love for each other and whoever should win. Yeah, having them almost confess to each other is an anime trope, and they shouldn't do that. That's it.
Just a short addition. I think threesomes are awesome.
Polyamory.
Alrighty.
Take from that what you will.
You leave that in, I'm gonna leave in mine, Caesar. Oh my God. Um. All right, Chad. Morok Lapramis. Bring back Yoko Kanno to write songs for the idols. Get Umika Kawashima or Uki Satake to dub for a genius character. I have no idea who those are. So Celia, if you want that also, you could have it. Go.
I'm Googling them right now. I don't know who either of them are either.
Well, Yoko Kanno said that she didn't want him to do any more Macross, right?
Did she?
Yeah, I think said
No.
Frontier was her last one. Don't quote me, but I think that was a thing before Delta even started.
That would break my heart if that were true.
Well, yeah, 5 seconds to break your heart.
Well, it looks like Uki Satake is a singer from a Japanese like pop girl group. Who's Umiko Kawashima?
Chad, Facility 6 Shoulder Stewart.
That's a terrible translation.
Just call him Stuart, man. Just call him Stuart.
That is a Babelfish translation if ever I've seen one.
I think that's Facebook translation. I'm just gonna wait until it's out of syndication so I can download it. Go. What the hell?
What?
Okay. I don't know if there's any advantage to watching it, out of syndication or downloading and binging it. I think if that's the spirit of this message, personally, I think the strengths and weaknesses of the show will still be apparent no matter which way it is watched.
Very good. That's 30 seconds used.
And you should buy the
Um,
Blu-rays anyways to support the official English subs that Satellite is putting on them. They're doing it for English speakers.
all right. Last question is from Matthew Fengdi. And no time on this one. You guys just tell me what you think. Is Do You Remember Love overused?
No. Hard no.
Chat.
Shame on you, Matthew. Shame on you.
I would say no also. For a series that happens every 5 to 8 years, I would probably say no. And I don't think there's another song that I would hear in place of Do You Remember Love from the Macross library that other singers would sing. Like I like other songs from the library, but like would you want to hear Diamond Crevasse from the Delta cast?
No. They couldn't do it justice.
That's Charles, but I guess the fact that Do You Remember Love wasn't really even originally Min May, right? It was a Protoculture song. It just makes sense.
Do you remember Love? I think has that. It's just like a quintessential Macross song. Like even if you
Hmm.
look at it, like it is, it is a pop song and it is a love song. The lyrics aren't super complex or anything, but it's like just the right rhythm and just the right tempo and just the right sounds, and it works. It's one of my favorite Macross songs of all time. So I think that's why it deserves to show up in every single Macross installation after it. So we get to hear more of it. I know I turn into
Has
it.
it?
I think it has.
Has it showed up in every?
No, no,
Well, I
no.
know it hasn't been in two. Was it in? I don't remember if it was in, because I saw the movie version, so I know it was cut down. I don't know if it was in
I
plus.
think it was in two actually, or a portion of it was in two. It was not in
That's
zero, and I don't
Was it
I
in
don't think it was
plus?
in plus either. I think my what was in plus? My boyfriend is a pilot,
Yeah, Kyun Kyun.
and was Sunset Beach in plus as well? I can't
I
remember
don't know.
now. My boyfriend is a pilot
Maybe
is
in the
definitely in there because it's part of the karaoke.
Yeah,
Actually, Do You
the
Remember Love
karaoke.
might have been in the karaoke section too because they sang more than one song in there, didn't they?
I just remember boyfriend is a pilot.
Yeah,
So I think I would remember Do You Remember Love. I don't remember Do You Remember Love in plus at all.
yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah,
So it's not even overused. It's only been in, it wasn't even in the original series. It was in the movie, and then it was in Frontier and Delta, right?
And there are covers of it too, though. Like I have a cover of the singer from Macross the Tribute album, and the
Uh-huh.
singer from Macross 2 sings it,
Hmm.
and it's actually very pretty.
It's a pretty song, and all the iterations have been pretty good. There's even like a Chinese version of it somewhere. It's pretty
I
good.
have to look it up. How many versions of Do You Remember Love do I currently have in my music
Mm,
library?
I don't know. It's a great song. My mom, because I rented Clash of the Bionoids so many times in VHS format that she would hum Do You Remember Love while she was cooking. Not while I was watching it, but in other times she would start humming it. So that was a cool thing. But then again, she also used to hum Prison Bound by Social Distortion, which is weird. So
Oh dear.
that's my mom. No, it's not overused. Definitely not.
Okay, I just counted all my versions of Do You Remember Love. I have 8.
Eight.
Yes.
Okay, why eight?
Well, 3 of them are Ronka by herself, first of all.
Ronka has three
Yes,
versions?
there's Ronka singing Do You Remember Love. Then there's Ronka singing Do You Remember Love, the Culture Edition, which is a little bit shorter. And then there's Ronka singing Do You Remember Love, Bless the Little Queen. The original by Min May, the cover by, where is it? Oh no, I can't find it.
Ronka has too much time in her hands. That's why she lost.
I can't find it now. I just saw it. Oh yeah, by the actress who voices Ishtar in Macross 2. So I have
Oh,
that. I
that's
have
right.
that cover. I also have the Walkure cover. I have the
Mm-hmm.
orchestral 2067 version, and I have the orchestral version from Tam Music. They were a Dojin music group, so they would put out fan arrangement, like instrumental arrangements, like classical music of different anime songs. And they had a couple of Frontier albums.
What about the Milan version?
I don't have that one. That will make
What?
9 once I get that one.
You need that one. I think I have that one.
Okay, so is it Tomo Sakurai who sings for Miulin, or is it Chie Kajura? Because
Chie.
I know that Tomo Sakurai can sing. I have some of her character songs from Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah, but it's
Oh,
Chie.
okay. I wonder why they gave her a separate singer. That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. They always do that with like kind of like the main singer,
Well, like mostly
like
because
main.
well, like okay, so I don't know if Aya Endo can sing though. I haven't heard any of her character singles.
Hmm.
Or who is it? Ami Hoshimizu, I think is the actress who voices Mikumo. I don't know if she can
Uh-huh.
sing, but like Tomo Sakurai can sing because she's sang character singles before. So now I'm curious as to why she didn't sing her own Milan songs.
But why not the other way around? Why can't Juna voice
She
Mikumo?
might not have the
And
right aesthetic. Just like main speaking voice is not what they wanted for Cheryl, which is why Aya Endo is Cheryl's speaking voice.
there you go, folks. You get more than you asked for with these comments. All right. So yeah, let's close it out. Celia Rose, where can we find you now that you're never going to do the Macross Delta recap show ever again?
Never again, really. Even if
Is
they
there going to be more Macross
even if there's a
Delta?
movie.
Okay, Celia Rose, where can we find you when you're not doing the Macross Delta recap show?
You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Celia Rose Cosplay and on Twitter at Planets Twinkle. I'll also be on the next episode of the Reanimated podcast talking about Macross Delta some more. Oh boy.
And Chad.
You can visit my website, of course, the Macross Mecha Manual. You can also send me an email at marchingcw@hotmail.com. And of course, you can visit the official Facebook page for the Macross Mecha Manual, which is facebook.com/Macross Mecha Manual. And lastly, I'm available on various anime message boards such as ANN, Anime Nation, and Macross World forums.
And this is EXO. You can find me on the Macross World Facebook page or the Macross Delta Facebook page. Or you could tweet at me at Macross Tweet, the official Macross World Twitter account. Itekimasu.
I appreciate your effort.
Which is the exact same thing as see you later.
No,
So
it's
see you
not.
later.
See you later.
Bye, guys. Might be the last time.
Goodbye and thank you for listening.